Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So today we are going to be talking about fragrances that I think are great for a morning scent. Here's what I like to look for in a morning scent. Typically for me, I'm going for something that is very bright and refreshing and kind of gets the life going into your body. You know, when you're waking up in the morning, even if you've had a great night's rest, you know, it takes a little bit to get going. You need a little bit of time to pass where you're up and moving, you're getting some sun onto your skin, you're getting some light onto your skin. And I think fragrances like these that I have in this list today can help with that because they have a freshness and a brightness and a briskness to them that kind of helps get you going, in my opinion. Before we continue on, don't forget to hit that like button. Doesn't cost you anything, helps the channel out. And if you like the content, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I upload new content. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so the first one's going to be coming from the house of Mancera. This is Sicily. Mancera Sicily. This fragrance, you're going to get a lot of fruits and citrus in the opening, supported by a nice bouquet of florals, and on the dry down, you're primarily going to get musk. I like this fragrance because that citrus and those fruits just have an air of freshness to them that is just very uplifting, in my opinion. Besides it smelling great, to me, this is just a great way to start the day. Awesome citrus and fruity accords that blend together nicely. The other great thing about this fragrance is it's not a super performer, but it's not weak also. But if you spray it on kind of early in the morning when you're just getting your day started, it's gonna dry down to that nice, clean, sensual musk. And if you wanna add something later on in the evening, so to speak, the base of this fragrance should not interfere with most things. It'll dry down in a way that you can just spray another fragrance on top of it for the evening later on in the day, and you shouldn't have any problems. Once again, from the house of Mancera, this is Sicily. All right, so the next one's coming from the house of Etat Libre d'Orange. It's You or Someone Like You. Etat Libre d'Orange, You or Someone Like You. This is a mint fragrance, mint and green fragrance. Mint, already very fresh and refreshing herb. Supported with a lot of florals and a very clean musk. It's a super refreshing fragrance. If you think about it, one of the first things you might do in the morning is brush your teeth, and the toothpaste probably might have minty-like accords in it, so that in itself carries a bit of a freshness to it. Why not have some great smelling mint coming off of your skin? And also it being a very realistic mint accord. Similar to Sicily, it dries down in a way that once it's well into the dry down, if you spray this on very early in the morning, by the time you get around to the evening, you can just spray over the top of it and it shouldn't interfere with anything. Another side note, I think this pairs very well as a layering combo with Sicily. It just provides this extra amount of freshness. If you happen to have both, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Once again, Etat Libre d'Orange is You or Someone Like You. Next up, coming from the house of Acqua di Parma, this is FICO di Amalfi. FICO di Amalfi from the house of Acqua di Parma. So this one, again, you're gonna get fresh and juicy citrus, but you're primarily gonna get fig from this one, creamy fig. So if you like the accord, or should I say, if you like the smell of fig, this is a good fragrance option to go with. I love the juicy nature of this fragrance. It's very refreshing, very uplifting. Love smelling it first thing in the morning. And if I'm being honest, a lot of fragrances from this house will work great for this scenario, in my opinion. And just like the previous two that I talked about, if you spray it on early enough, by the time it dries down, it shouldn't really interfere with anything. Pretty much you're gonna get that fig-like characteristic throughout the life of the fragrance. After that, it's, you know, there's not really much else I can say after that. Once it's dried down on your skin, shouldn't really interfere with anything else if you want to spray an evening scent on. Once again, Acqua di Parma's FICO di Amalfi. Next up, coming from the house of Dior, it's Dior OM Sport. This is the latest version, so 2021 release. Dior OM Sport, so similar to Dior Homme, has that kind of modern, clean woodiness, but this one focuses much more heavily on the citrus and also has some aldehydes in the opening, creating just this super bright, brisk, crispy, refreshing opening. And then the fragrance kind of keeps that same characteristic throughout the life of the wear. So if you want a fragrance that's just gonna open up the nostrils, especially first thing in the morning when you just need something to kind of give you a lift, this one here will definitely deliver. I should have mentioned it earlier, but honestly, all of these fragrance choices, I would also consider gym scents, because one of the things, particularly if you're working out in the morning, One of the things I like to wear to the gym is something that has that brightness and briskness to give me that kind of liveliness that I want to look for in the morning when I'm going to get my workout. These aren't the only things I wear, that's just one of the characteristics I like in a scent that I would wear to the gym. This one delivers all those characteristics and more. It's my favorite sports scent in my collection. Dior OM Sport 2021 from the House of Dior. All right, so this next one's coming from the house of Louis Vuitton. This is Pacific Chill. Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. To the best of my knowledge, this is the latest release from the house. This one, you could also say Afternoon Swim is a good one for this category. Bright, brisk, mouth-watering, nostril-opening citrus. While this one does also have some really nice citrus in the opening, it primarily focuses more so on fruits. The citrus in this one is a little bit more lemony compared to the orangey flavored citrus that you find in Afternoon Swim. But like I said, this one has a lot of just juicy fruits in it, keeping it just fresh all the way through the wear of the fragrance. The great thing about the fruity accords is it's not overly sweet either, so it keeps that refreshing vibe to it rather than it turning into a kind of a fun, playful, sexy vibe. But it has enough of that too to where it can work for that, but the fruits definitely come across far more refreshing and fruity than they do sweet and kind of juvenile. Love this one from the house of Louis Vuitton. This is Pacific Chill, perfect morning scent in my opinion. Next up from the house of Hermes, this is Hermes Ibuki Ray. I've talked about it a lot, but hey, the fragrance A is that good and B perfect for this category of discussion. Grapefruit juice. It's rindy, tart, fresh, nose opening, just grapefruit juice. I mean, that's what it is. It also has some juniper berry, which is a great green-like refreshing note, and nice clean grassy vetiver to go along with it. This fragrance here is great for kind of giving you that invigorating hit of freshness, if you will. As I've said a number of times in other videos, you have to like the smell of grapefruit to like this fragrance. That's literally the only citrus accord that exists in this fragrance. The actual note listed is citron, but citron is very similar to how grapefruit smells, very rindy, sour, but fresh citrus. Those who know. From the house of Hermes, this is Hermes Ibuki Ray. All right, guys, so next up we got one from the house of Nishane. This is Wulong Cha. Nishane's Wulong Cha. This one here is simply what I would call orange flavored tea. Very bright and brisk, refreshing, and stays that way throughout the entire life of the fragrance. You want something that is cooling and uplifting and bright and brisk, but also has a relaxing vibe to it. This one here will do it. Now I will point this out, dissimilar to most of the other fragrances on this list, I do think this one, even though it pretty much stays the same throughout the life of the fragrance, it lasts a little bit longer than the others, and that kind of orange zing does stay there the entire life of the fragrance. So mixing this one with other fragrances later in the day might be a little difficult, but I have not tested that. That's just based off of my previous wearings of this fragrance. That zinginess stayed there for a pretty long time. So as long as it's something that can kind of mix with that kind of a vibe, I think you're gonna be okay if you even wanna do something like that. But there's no doubt, if you wanna start your day off in a nice, uplifting, but calm mood, this fragrance here, I think is a perfect choice. From the house of Nishane, once again, this is Wulong Cha. All right, and last but not least, from the house of 8 and Bob, this is Memoirs de Mystique. Memoirs de Mystique, a great fragrance to start the day in my opinion. So the fragrance in and of itself is pretty much a culmination of the bitter orange tree. You got petitgrain, you got neroli, you got orange blossom, you've got other accords to support that concept, and it dries down with a nice, clean, musky, slightly ambery, woody dry down. The fragrance is definitely relaxing. The whole concept of the fragrance is based off an island known as Mystique, which is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. While most of the other fragrances on this list focus on having a lot of citrus to give you that refreshing vibe, this one actually focuses on the florals to give you that same concept. And similar to the other fragrances on this list, if you want to spray something else on in the evening time, the fragrance will dry down and basically be close enough to the skin to where it shouldn't interfere with anything else. Love wearing this scent in the morning, especially on a nice warm day. Once again, from the house of 8 and Bob, this is Memoirs de Mystique. Okay guys, that was it. That was 8 fragrances that I like to wear in the morning to help you get your day started. Thanks for hanging out all the way to the end of the video. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.